Hey toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we're looking at another line in the Marvel Legends Infinite series figures released by Hasbro. We've got the Eric O'Grady Ant-Man figure, a Walgreens exclusive released in 2015. Now, if you're not familiar with the Eric O'Grady version of Ant-Man, he did first appear in Irredeemable Ant-Man #1. That was released in 2006, and it was a pretty cool book. It only ran for about 12 issues, but it did cover some pretty cool Civil War tie-ins and even World War Hulk. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely look up that book. Now, Eric O'Grady Ant-Man was created by comic book writer Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead and Invincible fame, and artist Phil Hester. Personally, I'm a fan of Phil Hester's work on Green Arrow and the Irredeemable Ant-Man book. Definitely check those out. But Eric O'Grady did start as a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then stole the Ant-Man costume and eventually landed himself a position in the 50 States Initiative post-Civil War, and shortly thereafter became a member of the Secret Avengers. Now, during his tenure on the Secret Avengers, Eric O'Grady actually adopted the villainous identity of Black Ant, and that's actually the character that this particular Ant-Man costume is modeled after. And I don't want to say too much about that run, but there are some pretty significant and shocking spoilers to go along with that story. So with that bit of comic book history and general vagueness out of the way, let's go ahead and get things started by taking a look at the packaging for this figure. As you come down the front of this box, you will notice an absence of a Build-A-Figure emblem in the upper left. We do have the comic book Ant-Man logo there towards the center. We do have a window box packaging that houses this Ant-Man figure inside. Coming down the package, you've got the Marvel Legends Infinite Series logo, and finally the figure's name, Ant-Man. And flipping this package around, you've got the Marvel Legends Infinite Series logo and the comic book Ant-Man logo at the top of the packaging. You've got a bio for this version of Ant-Man. Go ahead and pause now to read that. And then the rest of the packaging is just an image of this Ant-Man figure. Since he's Walgreens exclusive, they do not acknowledge the Build-A-Figure Ultron Wave or any other figures available in this line. Alright, toy fans, well that's the packaging. Let's say we get this irredeemable hero out of the box and see what he's all about. Here we've got the Eric O'Grady Ant-Man out of the packaging, and the first thing you're probably going to notice is that he uses that slender, more gaunt style body mold that we saw with the Spidey 2099 and the Pizza Spidey figures released earlier this year. Now, I really like these molds for Spider-Man figures, but I do think it's just a bit off for the Eric O'Grady Ant-Man figure. I feel like they should have gone and used the superior Spider-Man mold. It's just a little bit shorter. It doesn't have that elongated torso that I usually think of when I think of somebody like a Spider-Man character. But with that minor gripe out of the way, I do like the overall look of this figure. Let's start by taking a look at the head sculpt on this guy. You'll see here that he does have an all-new head sculpt, and it's got some nice flesh tone here, and then the eyes I think are painted really nicely with the orange sort of cavities, and then the yellow for the actual eyes inside the socket. You've got a nice orange, neon orange lighting or piping here on the top of the helmet, and then that paint is here on either side of the helmet. These antennae are sculpted very nicely, and unlike what we saw with the Giant Man figure, they aren't a separate piece plugged into the forehead. I mean, they are separate pieces in and of themselves, but they're not a separate piece plugged into the center, so I like that you don't have as much, as much distraction, I guess, from the head sculpt. I think that looks really nice. And then we have some more orange paint here on the mouthpiece, so a really, really nice head sculpt overall. I'm very, very happy with that. Coming down the figure here, you do have red paint coming down the front. Now, it looks like it probably could have used one more coat of red paint, but it looks very nice, and you want to watch these when you're looking at the Walgreens shelves. Some of these have thinner red paint on the torso, and you're able to see the black coming through, so I definitely made sure I picked out the good one for myself. We have a separate piece here for the belt, and then coming down the figure, you do have red painted on the forearms here, red painted on the hands, or actually, excuse me, red plastic with black painted on the fingers. And then coming down, we have black legs with red painted on the boots. Now, I do think that while we are looking at red plastic here for the boots, the black comes through much nicer than we saw with something like the Giant Man, where they put red paint on black. It looks better when you have black paint on red, so I think that came through pretty nicely. Coming up the back of the figure here, we have the same paint colors we saw on the front. We still have the hole in the back of the figure for the 2099 Spidey cape. But really, I think the overall look of this figure is very nice. I'm very happy with it. Now, this Ant-Man figure, or really Black Ant figure, doesn't actually come with any accessories, and that's one of my minor complaints about this figure. We just got an SDCC exclusive box set with a bunch of different variations of Ant-Man, and I think it would have been really easy to take that smallest Ant-Man figure in the packaging and just repaint him in the colors of this Ant-Man figure and include him as an accessory. I don't work in toys, I don't know how the production costs work, but I really feel like they could have done that, especially since they're giving us just these clenched fist hands and none of the other interchangeable hands that were made for this Spider-Man body mold. Let's go ahead and move on to articulation. Ant-Man does have a ball-jointed head that looks back very far and looks down very far and rotates all the way around. He has a rotation here at the shoulder that rotates all the way around, as well as a butterfly joint, so his arm can move back and forth. He's got a upper bicep swivel here, double jointed elbow, rotation here at the wrist, and it does bend back that far and down that far, and then articulation is copied here on the other side. He's got an ab crunch so he can bend forward very far and bend back very far. This is the Spider-Man mold after all. He can rotate all the way around. He's got a hip joint so his leg can move forward that far, move back that far, out from the body not so much, upper thigh rotation, double jointed knee. He's got a foot that'll bend forward that far, bend back that far, and he has that full Hasbro ankle pivot. So really a great range of motion, probably more than an Ant-Man figure actually needs on this Ant-Man figure. Height-wise, we can see that this Eric O'Grady Ant-Man figure does come in just a little bit over 6 inches tall. For some size comparison, here is compared to the Giant Man figure that I've already reviewed from this wave and the Wasp figure from this wave, which I'll be reviewing soon. And here he is compared to the movie Ant-Man figure also from this same wave. And finally, here he is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Walgreens exclusive Ant-Man figure released by Hasbro in 2015. Overall, as I've said, I really do like the look of this figure, and I'm glad we're getting an Eric O'Grady Ant-Man added to our collection. I do wish it was a different costume than the one we've got here. This is his villainous turn, and I much preferred him when he was a hero, but it's better than not getting an Eric O'Grady figure at all. But I do have to nitpick the fact that he doesn't come with any accessories at all, not even a pack-in micro Ant-Man figure that's just a repaint of what we got in San Diego. And I do feel that the sculpt of this figure is just a tad too sleek and slender to be passed off as an Ant-Man figure, but that's just my opinion. Now because this isn't an essential Avengers character, you could probably give this guy a pass, which is great for those of you who don't live near a Walgreens, but if you're a completionist, it is a fun figure to have and I definitely recommend it. Well, thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, subscribe. Also, be sure to hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at D21Beast. Oh, and if you haven't seen it yet, check out Ant-Man in theaters. That movie is a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.